Hi, my name is Karen Holmes. I'm the founder and director of the World Peace Organization. I'm the principal of the organization, so I set the principles for the organization. I started out the other day with addressing the conference in Europe with the idea that people have wanted world peace to come and are frustrated because the world leaders don't ever sit down at a summit and write a treaty for world peace. They don't talk about it. And so the idea of a conference in Europe where that we host is a really great idea, except how do we get the people there? That's where the government proposals come in, because it solves the problems that the governments are having. They can look at a government proposal and they can see how it's going to work and how it fits in, whether they want to do that. That's how they function with proposals. Okay, but if we have the proposals, how do we take that idea to the people and explain how each of those government proposals will affect the people? Okay, and that's what I wanted to talk to you about today, is how the people get drawn into this idea. Okay, it's not just our organization, it's the people. Everybody needs to know what the plan is about and join the debate on it, but how do you join the debate? You might say, well, I like that idea or I don't like the idea, but I don't know anything about it. So that's where we are today, is looking at that idea. And how we are resolving that issue is through newsletters. This is going to sound kind of strange for most young people who are used to having the technology instantly at your fingertips with apps and the YouTube and everything, but years ago, newsletters were a pretty good idea. And what's really great about them is that you have something in your hand to hold. And it's not something that is going to be thrown away, because each newsletter is going to address something that is evolving. And if you have it in your hand, you're educated and you're aware of what's happening. Even years later, you can, when it's still happening, then you have it in your hand. You can go back and look at it. I know that you can look it up, but you don't get the full idea of it. Our newsletters are different because they start with Volume 1, Issue 1. Every subscription starts with Volume 1, Issue 1, and then it carries it all the way to the resolution of the problem. It addresses the first overview crisis, and then it carries all the way to the solution, where everybody's able to go to the conference in Europe or solve the problem or address the issue associated with it. Our organization is going to have a lot of newsletters. That's kind of our first issue, is because we separate off into the plan for world peace is so big that it separates off into technology. This is where we're going to start bringing in the people who don't see world peace as being possible, and it's too big to get your mind around. And that's pretty much everybody, because it is such a big idea. And then it goes technology, it spins off into business and economics, crisis in the family, conflict resolution, capacity, and tolerance and empowerment. So we're looking at all these ideas, and it's like one step. The principles, I teach the principles to the people about technology. Now you look at me and you say, what does she know about technology? She doesn't know anything about it. But I do know the principles associated with technology, what it is. It's about coming up with a plan. And basically, is that plan going to be used to benefit mankind? Does it solve problems, or does it make it worse? When we look how about nuclear energy? Did that solve our problems, or did they make the problems worse? Okay. What we have to do is we have to understand that when you come up with a plan, you have to address this idea all the way through. Address the glitches. You have to address how it's going to solve security issues. What about when the tsunami in Japan, the earthquake destroyed the Fukushima energy nuclear power plant, and then all of a sudden we had all this nuclear energy that was being expended. Okay, and going across the oceans, all the the fallout from that and everything. So basically what we have is we have to understand what we're creating, because it's really hard to uncreate something once it's already established. Okay, so each of our newsletters is going to follow kind of the same idea, where we start with the root cause of the problem and then solve it all the way to the end. And so year after year, it's going to be like taking the next step to make it happen and things like that. It's not going to be like, well, we're talking now about the issues related to where we are now. No, because we're creating the plan for world peace. We have to know what it is that we're creating. That's why everybody's voice is so important. So we're going to turn over responsibility to the people who are interested in technology and bring those people. That's the first one. My spin-off idea, not my spin-off, but the technology is the first spin-off, and then business and economics, and then crisis in the family. So each of the newsletters will be under the responsibility of the team that is part of that, and then it's going to be like I teach the principles to the head of the technology team, and he takes it and bridges to the people who are interested in technology, because he takes spirituality, which is what I'm interested in, and then carries it forward and translates it to the next one, like puzzle pieces all fitting together. I can't fit in with the technology people, but he can. And then the next group, and the same thing with business and economics. You know, people look at me and say, this is your business? You know, what do you know about business? Okay, I do know about business, but it's based on the principles of the cooperation of nature. And people just don't understand how that works yet. So that's where we are, is understanding how this new idea works. This is not capitalism. This is the principles of the cooperation of nature. How does nature work to create a sense of abundance for everybody? That's my job to explain. And then the people who understand about this will carry that idea forward, and they will be the teachers to their students, and then they will become the teachers to their students, and it'll just keep on going until everybody understands these new principles. Okay, so my two newsletters are associated with world peace and also the Catholic Church in America. That is something that the Vatican and Pope Francis is going through a lot of changes right now. The principal, St. Malachi, a long time ago, gave prophecies for the last popes of the Catholic Church, and all the way up to the end. And technically speaking, there's a question about, is Pope Francis the last pope, or what's going on? How is the Catholic Church ending? And there's a lot of discord right now that he's facing a lot of problems. So my responsibility is to address issues that can't be resolved within the Catholic Church because the Catholic Church is not capable of addressing these issues. The Catholic Church has always been responsible for teaching about the 7 deadly sins, and the two issues that they can't resolve from the inside of the church is sexual abuse by the priests and terrorism, acts of terrorism as a result of the Crusades. So that's our responsibility. Is in America, we haven't had the same problems with terrorism that they've had, say, in the Middle East. We have we've been insulated and isolated from that idea. So we can look at that without having a lot of emotional trauma associated with it, bringing in all the old angers and prejudice and things like that. We can look at sexual abuse and understand that these are 7 sins associated with the sin of anger and also the sin of lust. And how does that work? And that's my job. And we're going to be looking at that as part of the exit strategy in Iraq proposal, because we're looking at revenge, how it works and why it doesn't work. So there, we've got we've got the ideas associated with each of these. Each newsletter will have its own format. We'll start with the beginning issue. We'll address the overview idea, and then we'll carry it through until the problems are all solved. And that's where people will be able to have this. As all of these issues are going on, you can go back and look at that crisis and how it was resolved and understand. It'll be like going to school and getting a really great education, understanding how it works, being part of the debate, debating it with your family and friends. You'll have everything in your hand. World Peace Newsletter will have, will address the root cause of the problem. We'll address 60 failed foreign policy decisions. We'll address the root cause of the problem, the government proposal, like the executive summary for it. And then we're going to start explaining how it works and why it doesn't work, and how it fits in and what's going on. And then we're going to also put in the planning steps and the project ideas. So when you look at the Oxford and Stonehenge, why is Oxford and Stonehenge so important to ending this crisis? So it's going to be fun. It's going to be educational. It's going to be something that you're going to want to hold on to for the next 20 years. So, I have an Amazon box over here. And I was thinking, all these books are being sold on Amazon, and I don't think anybody is going to be selling any of these books. The newsletters and the books, I don't think Amazon is going to be able to be a source for this idea. So it's going to be something where people are going to hold on to this information and carry it through until we evolve out of it, until it's solved and our children and grandchildren don't have to live with the threat of war or genocide anymore, or terrorism or anything like this. We're going to wait until we evolve out of it. Okay, that's kind of one of the things that I've been trying to figure out lately is how I'm going to store all my stuff so that I can have it handy. I have a Rubbermaid tub that I have, and do I put it on a shelf? Do I get a bookcase? What happens if I, if that's my only problem, that's a really great idea. I'm doing pretty well. So that's all I wanted to talk about today. I ask that you like, share, and subscribe, and join the debate. These newsletters are not going to be available for a little while yet. They'll be sold on my, the information will be on the website, along with all the blogs and all the other things that are go along with all these projects. So you can be part of the project, and you can participate in it if it's something that interests you, and if you know about it, then you can also invite your family and friends who think that would be interesting. You might not be interested in world peace or a Catholic Church in America, but to be honest, the principles associated with Christianity, and like I said, you might find being able to unify the world's 7 major religions a very interesting thing for you to work on, because it's going to become like a school. We'll talk about that more later. Okay, so like, share, and subscribe, and thanks for listening.